Alright, in this video, I'm going to be going over some matchups that I want to see next after UFC 309. There's some big fights on this card, some big, some big wins, and there's a lot of hype matchups that need to happen in order for the UFC to go well. A lot of these matchups are just passion projects that I would like to see happen, but some of them are definitely necessary for the integrity of the UFC at this point. So we'll start out with Jon Jones, his next opponent. I kind of want him to see him fight Alex Pereira, if I'm being totally honest. I'm joking, no. Tom Aspinall, obviously, is the next opponent, defending interim champ. The only fight that Jon Jones should take next is against Tom Aspinall. If not, he should vacate and retire. Tom is defending his interim belt. He's knocking everybody out in a minute, pretty much a minute. Top heavyweights that are fucking good. Curtis Blades, Volkov, Pavlovich, in a minute. Tybura, he's not that good, but in a minute. He's very impressive. He's earned it. Jon Jones looked like shit against Stipe. That's a hot take, but in comparison to Tom, he did. So yeah, easy fight to make next. The only fight to make next is Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. Everybody wants to see this fight. It's the fight that needs to happen. Next. Now we get into the weirder ones that I like. We got this. Oliveira versus McGregor. So, I want to see Oliveira take one more fight before he fights for the belt, since it would be a rematch either way. If Islam wins, it's a rematch. If Arman wins, it's a rematch. He's lost to both of them. Arman, it was arguable that he could have won. I get it. Islam was not arguable. He got finished. I want to see him fight one more time, but I don't want to see him fight, like, he's beaten pretty much everybody that's has any momentum right now besides people lower in the rankings. I want to see this. This is huge. I don't want to see McGregor Chandler anymore. I don't think McGregor would want to take that. I get that Dana said that McGregor is going to fight at the end of 2025. I really hope that's not the case and that they bring him in sooner. If they don't, then this matchup's void anyway, but this is just the matchup I want to see completely. I just want to see this matchup happen. This is a sick matchup, and it adds a shitload of hype for Oliveira if he wins to go into that title fight. It could main event a pay-per-view. It's huge for the UFC. It's the biggest. I think it's the biggest fight McGregor could take right now, to be honest, besides like a title fight. But he's not going to get a title fight. He's not even ranked. I think this is perfect. I think it adds a lot of hype to Oliveira's name when he win. I'm saying win because he's probably going to win if he wins. If McGregor wins, it's McGregor Islam for the belt, which is insane. Just an insane thing in general. And I like insane things in matchups. And this fight is super interesting, super exciting. Two very exciting fighters. Whether you like it or not, Conor is the biggest draw still in the UFC. And Oliveira is the most beloved, exciting fighter pretty much in the UFC. So, this matchup is perfect for me. Adds a shitload of hype to Oliveira's name. And it's perfect opponent for McGregor's comeback, I would say. So yeah, I want to see this. So for Chandler, I have a different opponent for Chandler, as you can tell by the not having McGregor there. I think that Chandler should fight the winner of Renato Moicano versus Paddy Pimblett, because this fight is happening. There are two big stars at this point, both very good on the mic. Michael Chandler, I don't think Michael Chandler should be fighting anyone. No one above him. He's gotten way too many easy fights above him. These are two very good prospects coming up. Renato Moicano is more than a prospect at this point, but he is very good. He's coming up. They're both very exciting personalities, I would say. Renato is very good on the mic. He's very funny. He's getting finishes. He's doing it in devastating fashion. His last fight was very impressive. Same with Paddy Pimblett. His fight with Bobby Green was very impressive. They're both going to be coming. Whoever wins this fight is going to be a huge name in the lightweight division at this point, and Michael Chandler is also a huge name and very exciting. This fight with either of them is just perfect in terms of hyping up a potential prospect if they win, or keeping Michael Chandler's name kind of relevant for those big fights. I think this is perfect. You don't want to go too low with Chandler. He's too exciting. He's pretty valuable to the UFC. I think this is perfect. Perfect opportunity to give some hype where it's due with these two fighters. And yeah, it would send them up the rankings into those big fights. And Michael Chandler, I think, needs to fight down. I don't think he needs to fight up at all. And this is still a big fight to compensate if he wasn't going to get the McGregor fight. So yeah, this is what I want to see next for Michael Chandler. Next will be Bo Nickel. So I want Bo Nickel to fight up the rankings. I want to see him tested. These next couple matchups are just matchups that I want to see for the fuck of it. Pretty much. I don't know if they'll make them, but I want to see Bo Nickel tested against someone in the rankings at this point. I want to see him against Roman Dolidze. I think this matchup is super interesting to me. I think that striking-wise, they have similar wild, dumb, kind of stupid technique style. I think they're both good wrestlers. I think that in order to test Bo Nickel in a way that's not incredibly weird and to kind of introduce him into the rankings, which, I don't know if he deserves it or not, but this matchup makes a lot of sense to me. Dolidze is coming off of a win against Holland, but it was a weird draw win, and he beat Anthony Smith. So I think Dolidze, and I don't see any super interesting matchups for Dolidze up the rankings, to be honest. So I think Dolidze should fight down. I think Bo Nickel should be really tested against this guy with his wrestling and such. And it would be a big fight for Bo Nickel to take, because at this point, he keeps talking shit. He said he could beat, after the fucking performance he had against Paul Craig, he had the audacity to say that he would be a negative 1,000 favorite against Khamzat Chimaev. I say let's feed him to the wolves and see if he can really handle it. And this is the first kind of step in the ranking direction. He says he wants to slow down. Dana White says he wants to slow down. And then he starts yapping a lot behind the scenes on how he can ragdoll Chimaev and beat Whitaker. Give him someone good. Let's see if we can get past him, and then he can prove that maybe he can talk shit a little bit. Khamzat would fucking murder him. But this is a good introduction. And if Dolidze fucking whoops his ass, then we know Bo Nickel ain't shit. And I'm okay with that. So yeah, that's what I want to see for Bo Nickel. It's probably not going to happen, but it would be interesting if it did. Next, Paul Craig. Wasn't a horrible performance. Paul Craig isn't very good at all. I'd say feed Paul Craig to someone that needs a little bit of hype. I'd say make this matchup. Paul Craig versus Mikael Pereira. Mikael coming off of a devastating loss, really bad loss, really embarrassing. Had pretty much a minute of cardio and then got fucking beat to shit after that. Paul Craig, decision. His chin's kind of gone. His aura's kind of gone. He's in this realm, in this weird area of... I think Michael Pereira should be fighting down. I think Paul Craig is like right outside the rankings anyway. For those big names, I think this adds... I think giving Pereira a matchup that he can win devastatingly and have some more hype on his name is beneficial to the UFC in general. And we get to see if Michael Pereira can handle... I mean, shit, he knocks out Paul Craig. But if it doesn't go to that, we'll get to see how he does against the jiu-jitsu on the ground. And if he doesn't knock out Paul Craig in the first couple minutes or whatever, we get to see if his cardio can hold up against someone like Paul Craig. I think it's just a way to give hype to Michael Pereira, and if Paul Craig gets it done in a weird way, it kind of gives back hype to him. It's just an interesting matchup to me. Devastating knockout, but no cardio, and then an insane jiu-jitsu artist that can catch you with anything. I think it's just super interesting and a cool fight to make. I think this is what should be made next. But yeah, a little fight that I want to see. Probably not going to happen once again. But next, Mauricio Ruffi. He called him out. I don't hate jumping him up the rankings at this point. Benoit Saint Denis. Spoiler. Mauricio Ruffi versus Benoit Saint Denis. Mauricio called him out. Benoit has proven that he is not top ranking material at this point. His ranking in the lightweight division in general is a little sketchy and weird. I'd say make this fight. Fuck it. It's super interesting to me. I don't want to see Mauricio Ruffi fight another couple more cans, to be honest. I'm fine with shooting him up. Benoit's proven that he's not that level. I think this is perfect. I think if Rufi can beat Benoit, it introduces him to the rankings quickly, which is fine with me because he's super entertaining. I don't want to see him get shot up as quickly as possible before his cardio fails him, and then that's all the hype gone. And Benoit, if he beats him clearly, it adds a little bit more hype to Benoit's name. I think this is just a good matchup for the hype. One of them gets a lot of hype if they win, one of them loses it all. And I'm fine with that gamble with these two. I think, yeah. Let's get Mauricio Ruffi as far up the rankings as possible as quick as we can. In my opinion, with this contender, that's what I think we should do. He has the confidence and the skill. I think we can do that and have it be fun, to be honest. If he gets beat, he'll learn a lot, probably from the gritty fight with Benoit Saint-Denis that would come with a loss. Because I don't see him getting chinned by Benoit. It would probably be a gritty loss if he did lose. Full of wrestling and probably a cardio deficiency. So he gets to learn from that and probably get better. So we can see Rufy in the top of the lightweight division at some point during his career, which I really do want to see. He's very exciting and interesting to watch. And if Benoit just gets fucking shit on, then there's a lot of hype. So yeah, these are the interesting matchups I want to see next after UFC 309. I just like to see hype going forward. I just really am dissatisfied with the UFC at this point right now in matchups and quality. So this is perfect. Let's add some sick, super high stake matchups to these cards. So yeah, that's what I want to see next. I will see you soon.